Although it wears an SUV body, Maserati's new Grecale Trofeo is an Italian exotic in nearly every other respect, and if the visuals don't make that obvious, firing up and revving the 523 horsepower MC20 sourced engine sure as hell will. From the lipstick red interior to the screaming turbo engine, no other contender in our SUV of the year competition waved the flag for its country of origin like the Maserati. And yes, the driving experience is every bit as electrifying as the visuals promise. What a chassis! Digital director Eric Johnson said. Incredibly responsive steering, braking, and powertrain. Lovely damping and best brake pedal here. Tons of personality from the engine. I love the way it sounds, and I love the way it looks. It's by far the most charismatic thing in the competition, only the Hyundai Kona N comes kind of close, but it's merely in the same solar system, not on the same planet. Associate editor Alex Lenz agreed, Countach. This thing absolutely rips on the winding road course. Probably the most uncompromisingly sporty vehicle here. So it's good, but it isn't the best. At least, 2 judges invoked the name of Porsche's Macan, not a contender this year, to suggest the Maser wasn't quite as good. That's an issue because the Macan is precisely the SUV the Grecale was designed to compete against. An even bigger problem for the Grecale was another brand name that kept coming up in the judges' notes, Maserati's sister marque, Alfa Romeo. 7 judges separately expressed nearly identical sentiments. It feels like a slightly richer flavor of the Alfa Romeo Stelvio Quadrifoglio. Driving it quickly reminds me of the Alfa Stelvio, no wonder, it has the same underpinnings. Déjà vu from my Stelvio driving days. The Grecale should be more superior to the Stelvio than it is. I love this thing right to the core of my being, but what precisely makes it a Maserati and not an Alfa Romeo? The Grecale certainly drew no shortage of compliments for its Hilux driving environs. We liked the 4-screen dashboard. One of those screens, the round one, takes the place of the traditional analog clock and can show performance data, as well. But we also noticed idiosyncrasies, such as paddle shifters that blocked access to the column stalks and door seals that couldn't keep out the dust from our low-traction course, which, by the way, the Grecale handled just fine despite its road-biased summer tires. And although it was by far the quickest gas-powered SUV in this year's competition, reaching 60 miles per hour in just 3.7 seconds, it couldn't outrun the mightiest electrics. Compared to the Stelvio, the Grecale does have the advantage of more space for rear passengers, an important factor not lost on Lenz. Maserati didn't forget to make this a usable SUV. The back seat is spacious and has lots of amenities. Associate editor Duncan Brady made similar observations. Nice that it has 40/20/40 fold flat rear seats with HVAC controls and charge ports back here. Cargo space is larger than I expected. And that's important because the Trofeo isn't the only version of the Grecale. Maserati will also offer 4-cylinder versions with 296 or 325 horsepower, depending on trim level. But the Trofeo was what we had in front of us, and we stopped short of deeming it a practical SUV. We could not ignore its hard, noisy ride, a foregone conclusion, Lenz said, given those 21-inch wheels and shadows of tires or its high price. The base model lists for $64,995, and the Trofeo starts at more than $100,000. Options on our SUVOTY entrant, including a $4,100 paint job, and a $3,100 suite of driver assistance features, most of which come standard on a $24,000 Toyota Corolla Cross, inflated the price to $122,255. We can't deny that the Grecale Trofeo delivers thrills that are worth paying for, but that's a lot of money for what head of editorial Ed Lowe accurately called a very one-note vehicle.